A coven of extreme man-hating feminist lesbians and giant alien bugs? I don't know what else to say except we watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. We watched it so you don't have to. So you know what time it is.
Horror, so bad it's scary. Splitting up is never okay. Plot who needs it. Don't turn on the lights. Cars don't ever start, but that's alright. Running upstairs instead of out the door. Good acting, what do we need that for? Horrible horror, so bad it's scary. Enjoy the show, but not really.
What's up, Moon Goons? Welcome to the Horrible Horror Podcast, the podcast where we watch the worst of the worst in horror movies. Movies so bad they're scary. I'm your host, Mr. Marshall Hampton. With me, as always, is my buddy, my co-host, Mr. Aaron Southworth. Aaron, how are you doing? The 2 days after Christmas now, I guess it is. I forget. Exactly.
Holy shit! This is the worst Christmas ever.
Yeah. Pretty shitty Christmas.
Yeah,
here.
I'm okay, man. You know, my Christmas was pretty good as far as gifts being received. That was fun. I didn't get a chance to see my family or friends, but I did get a pretty sweet pair of pants.
All right. Well, that's always nice. Sweet pants are good. Sweet pants are really good. I kind of second your thoughts on that. Like, Christmas was kind of a bummer this year. We didn't really see much of anybody or do anything. Yeah, I mean, personally, my kid, she loved it. She got, like all kids do, she made out like a bandit and had a great time. But otherwise, it's kind of like, and just get this shit over with and move on to next year, basically.
Yeah, it was just a bummer, I mean, we decorated, we did all this stuff, and it's our baby's first Christmas, so it's supposed to be, you're supposed to, like, take time off on the baby. Like, you go to a party, you throw your baby into your aunt's arms, and you just walk away as they pass her around and do stuff. I didn't get that luxury at all, so.
Yeah, I understand your plight there.
Yeah.
But
what was your number one gift?
I don't really want to talk about the stuff I get. As far as a downer most of the time.
Well, I'm talking about the number one gift.
Okay, you're right. Totally right. I can't believe I didn't even. The coolest thing. Okay, definitely by far the coolest thing. I should have not even said it was a bad thing, because this is actually really awesome, and I should have led off with this right from the get-go. But so my parents got me. I should be introducing myself now with a different title, because I am now nobility in Scotland, if you will. I am now a Lard Marshall Hampton. I am a landowner in Scotland with a title that goes with it, and a tartan, and so I can officially change my name to Lard and have it put on my passport and all my legal documents. So all you peasants out there now, I will be collecting your taxes and your dowries for your servitude in my...
You bought that square foot of land in Scotland, didn't you? It's like a square foot, like a patch of moss, where you can technically say you're a lard ass. And
you're goddamn right. But I don't care how much land it is. I'm a lard. I am
funny?
Officially recognized by the courts.
I thought about getting that for you.
Law system of Scotland. It is official. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fun. That's cool. So yeah, I guess that's one of the highlights right there.
Yeah.
So
I got a like a little device you put on your shoulders that I can put Everly on, and weight distribution, so I don't can strap her in and walk around the house, do chores, or go for a walk, or run around with her on my shoulders. So that's pretty cool. Really happy about that.
All right, that's nice. Man, I remember when Livy was young, that age, and had put in those little baby backpacks. You just strap them in. You carry around on your back like Yoda, like Luke Skywalker carrying around Yoda or something like that. Man, I can only wear that for so long. For like, I'm just like it wears you down fast. That extra weight, it did me in a number of times.
I think it's better than carrying her all the time, but like if I ever evenly distributed it on my shoulders, my whole body's carrying it. It's not like just my back or my, abs. It's my whole body. It's like up on my shoulders,
Yeah.
So it's pretty nice.
Cool. I wish I had something like that for Livy. Anyway, let's get back to the task game. Before we start, there's a few things I want to mention that I've gotten sent some information on. I thought it was kind of cool to pass on to the listeners. First thing I want to talk about is apparently I got an email. I guess maybe it's my own fault that maybe we're letting the fans down and that our show apparently has strayed from its path, if you will. We're not doing shitty enough movies for the listeners. And I got emails from a longtime listener and supporter, Mr. Jeff Bosniak, saying that our movies are not shitty enough lately, that they've been too decent to good, and that we need to get back to our roots with the crap of the crap. And he threw in another movie suggestion for us to help us along to find our footing again, if you will. Which I'll look that up and check it out later. But I found that kind of funny, and it made me think, like, you're kind of right. Like, in the last 3 weeks, the movies have been pretty decent and fun. At least 3 weeks.
Because it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's Christmas, goddammit.
Yeah, I thought about that, and that was my thing too. It's like, well, it is Christmas time, and we're trying to we're doing the Christmas movies, but
fucking Legend of Steak Mouth. God damn, that was horrible.
I know, but we have
How
an Apocalypse.
Say we're straying from our roots. We're watching some shit, man. I challenge you to do this every goddamn week.
Yeah, I see the point there. But and the Apocalypse was good. Ugly Sweater Party Watch Along was good. And Secret Santa, like, I thought was gonna be the shit, but turned out to be surprisingly good and fun. So yeah, we've had a streak here. Now, we'll see what happens with this week's episode. Before we get to that, the last thing I want to mention is, if you guys are not aware of it, I got an email about this from the producers and the directors, but there's a fan film called Halloween Inferno that you can find on YouTube, and it seems to be having a pretty good success. From what I said, it's got like 700,000 views already or something like that. I have not had a chance to watch it yet, but I plan on to because it sounds interesting. It's a 3-part series right now and you can watch all 3 of them together. Part 1 picks up right after the events of Halloween 2018 with Michael Myers escaping Laurie Strode's basement. And then part 2 is a flashback. It goes back to 1978 and it follows basically Michael Myers getting caught after his original murder spree on Halloween night. Now, I don't know if it includes the events of Halloween 2 in this episode or not, or if it's strictly just 1, but it goes back to there. And then part 3 goes back and picks up where part 1 left off, with Michael going out, heading to the police station or going off, I don't know, something like that. So it sounds kind of interesting. I'm hope it'd be kind of good because I know we had the fan films Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow are really good and really great and just were awesome. So I'm hoping maybe this is a kind of in that same boat, same quality. So I encourage you guys to check it out if you haven't already. And if you do check it out and you do like it, the group that made it is working on their full-length original movie called The Burned Over. They're in production right now. And if you like what they're doing, you can actually donate and help on their Indiegogo site for, various level of perks and goodies and all that stuff. If you like their fan film and want to support them more, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to get out there and if you guys have seen it or not and send it your way. With that said, let's close out our Christmas holiday season. Let's close out the year with our Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation. Oh, fuck me. This movie, obviously, is the 4th in the series that we've done now. This one was released on November 21st of 1990. Right now, you can only find it on Tubi. It's the only place I've been able to find it online for streaming. but at least it's free if you want to sit through some ads, but you can watch it. It's written by Richard N. Gladstein, Arthur Gorson, Woody Keith, S.J. Smith, and Brian Usna. So right there is a bad sign. When you have that many writers, shit gets convoluted and messed up, and it's normally a bad sign going on. Directed also by Brian Usna. Now, horror fans, I think your diehard horror fans and would probably recognize that name. Or if you don't know the name, you'll definitely know his work, because he's got a lot of horror movies under his belt, and some pretty famous ones at that. Starting off with Society, that wacky, crazy-ass fucking movie. He directed that, along with Bride of Reanimator, Return of the Living Dead 3, Necronomicon, The Book of the Dead, The Dentist 1 and 2, Beyond Reanimator, Amphibious Creatures from the Deep, which sounds like a Humanoids from the Deep ripoff. Those are his other horror movies that he's directed. So certainly not an amateur or this is earlier in his career, but still he's got a lot of horror under his belt. Whether
he's not a one and done kind of guy.
Right. And in Society, the Reanimator series, Return of the Living Dead, those are all pretty well-known series in the horror world. And so he's worked on some bigger stuff like that. The cast, right off the bat, the first person we got to mention is our lead character, Ricky, or not lead character, but character Ricky is played by Clint Howard himself, who we last saw in Ice Cream Man. Everybody knows who he is, but he's in here as Ricky. We also have other horror alumni, Reggie Bannister from the Phantasm series. He plays Eli. Although they really kind of, I don't know why he's even in this movie, other than just, hey, let's just get Reggie Bannister at the time. But otherwise, this role could have been played by anybody. It wouldn't have fucking mattered. And he really doesn't have any part in this movie at all.
I'm trying to place where he is.
He's the newspaper editor-in-chief.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
They have like a bald cap on him and gray hair. So it's.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a bald cap or he just was going bald at that time.
Yeah, he is bald. You're right. He is, but it was the gray hair, and he's like wearing like a pale blue shirt. So I was like, I wasn't paying attention.
He's so average looking. Like, yeah, you wouldn't even, unless you knew it was him, like, you wouldn't think anything of this guy. Also, one of the writers, Richard Gladstein, makes an appearance in the movie as Woody. I don't know who the fuck that character is. Probably just some random dude who works at the fucking newspaper as well. It doesn't matter, but he's in it as a cameo. The other person, the last two people mentioned, Catherine. Catherine is played by Jeannie Bates. This woman, I should say, has 152 credits for her name, so she's been around a long time. She played Irene in Mulholland Drive, which was a critical master. Love that movie. She was also in Die Hard 2. She was in Wonder Woman, the TV show, and she was Mrs. X in David Lynch's Eraserhead movie, which is, a lot of people know that one. And she was just on tons and tons of TV shows throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And the last person I'll mention, probably, again, for movie buffs and most famous person, I guess, is Fema, played by Maude Adams. Now, again, if you don't know the name, that's okay, because she was in Rollerball with James Caan. So she worked with some big actors. She was also in 2 James Bond movies. She was Andrea Anders in The Man with the Golden Gun. And if you don't know her, don't know her name, you'll definitely know her from her character, because she's probably the most famous character in all the Bond movies next to James Bond. She was the famous Octopussy in Octopussy. So Octopussy's in this movie. Other than that, that's really all we're going to... I'm not going to talk about anybody else. And we're just going to get right into
you didn't hear me, did you?
Silent Night, Deadly Night 4.
Didn't hear me.
What?
It said, does she have 8 pussies? Whoa!
Oh!
We're having some technical difficulties, or Marshall's ears are broken.
Yeah, we're still doing this remotely. And for somebody, I know in the recording, you're hearing him fine because we tested it. But on my end, I can barely hear Aaron at all. So I apologize if there's a bunch of what are you saying? Because I can't hear him, but I know you guys listening can. So that's all that matters. So the movie, we open with like this shot of like some 4-5 story building, some in the city. On the roof of it is a giant Christmas tree just made from strings of lights. So it's not a real tree, it's just, outlined in lights. We snap to homeless Clint Howard pushing his shopping cart that is also decorated with garland down the sidewalk. He stops to pick up this discarded burger he finds on the street. he sees that it's covered in maggots, but hey, that don't stop him because he scarfs it right down anyway and devours it. And then he hears a woman screaming, "Fuck you!" Like, no, no, no. And he looks up and sees this woman standing on the edge of the rooftop of the building with the Christmas tree you just saw. And the lady continues to scream. And then she just like literally just spontaneously combusts into flames. She just spontaneously combusts into flames. And she jumps off the roof, plummets to the sidewalk below, dying on impact. But there's some really odd things about this body and the continuity here, because we see the body falling. It's completely engulfed head to toe in flames. But when the body hits the ground, only the lower half of her is on fire still, which doesn't make any sense. Like I said, we just saw the whole body on flames. And then Clint Howard approaches the flaming dead body, and we see, and then there's more odd things. Like the lower half of her body, one looks like half of it's just gone. Like her legs aren't even there anymore. It's just like blackened soot marks on the sidewalk in the shape of legs. Like there's like no legs there, or there's flat, like the bones just completely vanish or something. It's just flabby skin. It's really odd. And then the lower half of her torso is like, looks like it's being like cracked open, like an eggshell, and it's just black inside. Like it's a really weird looking thing. I don't know if it means anything or just bad effects, but it just looks odd and really weird and confusing to me.
Okay, I've got a theory here.
Okay, what's that?
The reason she was wearing a mohair sweater when she first went up, and if you light a mohair sweater, like the outside little fuzzies will burn off, but then it'll just go out, like you do with a sock. Have you ever lit your sock on and just like a flame goes around it?
No, I've never set my socks on fire. No.
Oh no, it's like whenever you have a whole bunch of fuzzies on your sock and you light a lighter on it, it just kind of like does a quick little burn of the fuzzies, but the sock itself is fine. So that explains her top half. And her bottom half, she had a raging case of gonorrhea causing the flames. But that's the chemical that she was using to treat said gonorrhea caused such a like combustible atmosphere and environment that was just right. So it just completely melted her lower half. It's pretty easy to explain away, Marshall.
Of course. How stupid of me to not pick that up on that. I'm sorry. That's my fault, guys. I apologize. So
get with it.
So anyway, police sirens are heard, and Clint Howard, he skedaddles down the alleyway. We roll some really odd and weird opening credits. Like the graphics they chose for this and the letter, it's really weird. And it's almost psychedelic in a way, sort of. It's really, I don't know, it's just weird. Lots of spirals and like weird letters. So after the credits, we go to the bedroom of our main girl, just where we meet our main character, Kim, who's in the middle of fucking her boyfriend, Hank. These two are going at it. Plenty of ass and boobs are seen here. In the background is a TV news reporter reporting on the incident that we just saw, and they're calling it a suicide at this point.
Is that the way you make love? Because you're saying they're going at it. It just looks like they're wrestling. It almost looks like they're just like they're play having sex. Like they're just like whoa. It looks awkward. How awkward they are together.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yes, you're right. It's very awkward, but in theory, they're supposed to be going at it. But yes, it does look very awkward. Aaron is right on that one, 100%. Basically, not wanting Kim to be distracted by news report, Hank turns the channel to porn. So he switches the channel and porn comes on. So proper move there, I guess. Like, that a boy. Really? We cut to the two of them now. They're walking back to work together from their little afternoon delight session. And basically, we learned that both of them work for the same newspaper called the LAI.
I have to say that
I believe is just a photographer, while Kim is an aspiring reporter, but is stuck working like the crappy classifieds and the calendar section.
I have to say that the guy's choice of outfit is pretty bold.
Thank you. That's my very next comment. Is we have to talk about his fucking outfit because it's insane.
His slacks. He's got slacks on with a turtleneck and a leather jacket on top of the turtleneck. Pretty bold choice.
Yeah, I think it's like this, and he wears like the black turtleneck, the black slacks, and a black leather like biker jacket. but his hair is like very well maintained and feathery. It's styled. So I mean, he looks like that corporate accountant who plays biker on the weekend, or he's just trying too hard. Like, but I love, like, it cracked me up. I'm so glad you mentioned that yourself, because I was definitely going to do that. So Kim mentions that she wants to do an article on the woman's suicide that was on the news report. When they get back to the office, she tries to pitch the idea to the editor-in-chief of the paper, like is Reggie Bannister, but he and pretty much everyone else in the office just ignores her, blows her off, and they basically treat her like a glorified secretary.
Completely ignore her.
Yes. It's very much like how Nancy Wheeler is treated in the last season of Stranger Things at her paper.
Nice.
Just, little Missy, reference. Go get us coffee. Women can't do anything. It's very much that mentality. So the newspaper office also has some Christmas decorations up. But really, this is about all the Christmas you're going to get in this movie. Excuse me. It really has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas at all. This whole movie might as well take place in like spring or summer. It would change nothing. Or matter for that matter. It's really pathetic how they even classify this as a Christmas movie at all. There's one other Christmas later in the movie, but really Christmas has no bearing on this whatsoever. It's just really sad because this is supposed to be the Silent Night, Deadly Night series. It's a Christmas series. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I know we should have probably talked about it at the beginning of the show, but the continuity of Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, 2, and 3 all revolve around the family, the two brothers.
Yes.
You know, Billy and Ricky. Yeah. So, you know, it's always, and we've always had that continuity, even though number 3 went a little crazy, but they still had Ricky. This has none of that. It doesn't talk about him. It doesn't mention him. It doesn't even pay credence to them in unless you count the perverted way later. It's just so disappointing that they don't do anything to tie it in with 1, 2, and 3.
100% agree. Like, I was so disappointed and angry about this. I was like, okay, let's see where the Ricky trilogy, you know, or the Ricky story goes. And then you get this ball of fucking craziness that it's just fucking weird, man. This whole movie is just strange and is like and just insane. But I was so disappointed. I agree. Like, it really fucks up. Like, it shouldn't be. I was gonna say for my thoughts at the end, but I agree. Yeah, 100%. Like, it's messed up. So a few of the other workers in the office are watching more news footage of the suicide. Again, we see the body. And the legs are practically gone from the body. Like, there's like no legs on his body anymore. It's just fucking, I don't know. It's just weird looking. It's just an odd choice. I don't understand why this body has no legs anymore. I don't get it. And at this point, from here on out, I'm going to be honest. Like, we just talked about, even though it just, a very large chunk of this movie can pretty much kind of be skipped over. And I'm trying to do my best to just give you like a Cliff Notes rundown of this, because there's so much not happening for long periods of time. I'm going to try to just skim over a lot of this as best I can and speed this up. So, at the office, we also meet the only other woman that seems to work there. Her name's Janice, and she seems to kind of help Kim out, going rogue and writing the story herself, even though she was told not to. But she's like, yeah, go do it. You know, I'll cover for you or whatever. So Kim and Janice, you don't really know if they're friends or just work acquaintances or work friends. You don't really know what their relationship is outside the office, but they're at least friendly here, and they I don't know. It's, so Janice gives Kim the address of where the body was found, where you know, the building she jumped off of, and we move on. So Kim, she goes straight there, and instantly she gets stalked by Clint Howard, and she talks to this Asian butcher, for any leads, and this butcher is such a racist stereotype. Like, yeah.
I mean, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. He did the worst broken English imitate. You can tell this guy speaks English fluently.
That's
no
my
problem.
point. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so funny. That's my exactly saying. It's so funny because you can clearly tell, like Aaron said, the actor can clearly speak fluent, clear, perfect English, but the director's like, hey, I want you to speak in that stereotypical broken Asian speak, and it's just fucking terrible the way he does it. So it's hilarious. It's so racist.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
I don't get it. Like, you have a perfect guy who can speak perfect English, but you telling him to speak in broken. It's so like 80s.
Yeah,
90s
I would love to see the director be like, no, chink it up, man. Come
Yeah.
on, you can do this.
Chink it up. Oh my god. So
sorry, but I just saw the director saying that.
I 100%, yeah, it's messed up, man. I agree with you. So Kim goes, anyway, she goes into a bookstore next door to find books on spontaneous combustion. Inside, she gets poked in the ass by Clint Howard. It's a weird scene. Just kind of reaches up, pokes her in the ass, and I don't know the point. It's weird. It happens. I don't know again. So the store owner kicks Clint Howard out and introduces herself to Kim as Fema. Fema insists that Kim also take this other book called Tradition of the Virgin Goddess. And at the checkout counter, there's this bowl of what looks like disgusting looking snacks that Kim actually eats. And they look like fucking chocolate covered bug cocoons.
They're dates. She's eating dates.
Is that what those are?
Yeah. Have you had a date?
I know what they are, but 5 years ago, but they didn't, I don't know. They look like fucking chocolate covered bug cocoons to me. That's what they look like.
So wait, Marshall, are you telling me you haven't had a date in years?
Oh, what? Yeah. I don't know. She actually eats this disgusting thing. Also, I have to mention how fucking weird the interactions between Fema and Kim are. Because remember, Fema and Kim have never met before. And when they do meet, Fema gives Kim a hug. They shake and hold hands for like 2 minutes. It's incredibly awkward. And then at one point, Fema kisses Kim on the cheek too. And this shit is fucking insane. I mean, because imagine if you walked into like a Barnes and Noble and some counter employee did that shit to you. Like, just how fucking weird and creepy would that be? Like, I get the hell out of that store.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. If it's the crunchy hipster dude with a, like Tweedledee mustache or something, yeah, I might be a little upset. But if it's the hipster chick who likes the bone on the side, maybe I'd be a little bit more into it.
Fuck it,
I guess it depends.
I see your point, but it's fucking awkward. You tell me you didn't think this was a weird ass scene. And she's acting like it's super creepy and unnatural. And Kim just like, yeah, this is fine, whatever, we'll go with it. On top of all that, Fema then invites Kim to some picnic she's having tomorrow. Like I said, they know nothing about each other. And she's like, yeah, come to my picnic and let me kiss you and hug you and hold your hand. And like, it's fucking insane. Like, it just blows my mind that these are people acting like this. I
just recently saw Die Hard, and I think John McClane would say, fucking California. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's probably because this does take place in LA or something like that. So maybe that's it. Kim asks Fema if she can show her to the roof where the woman jumped from, and Fema does. She takes her up to the roof. Up on the roof, Kim looks around, finds the spot where the lady jumped, and then there's some kind of like this weird ass reaction to it. Like, I don't know. Like she goes to the ledge and stands over, like her toes is like hanging over the edge a bit. Her arms all outstretched, like, she's fucking doing the Titanic King of the World shit. And she looks like she's about to jump off the ledge herself. And then all of a sudden she like comes to and I'm really like, oh shit, what am I doing? And she's like sick to her stomach all of a sudden. It's really weird. It makes zero sense. It's confusing. Clint Howard is also up there on the roof just watching her. He goes over to like this large vent tube, like these big round opening vents. And pulls out this giant fucking alien looking bug. Like, seriously, this thing is like 1.5 feet long. It's slimy. It's like whitish. I don't even know what the fuck this thing is supposed to be. It's purely alien at this point. He holds it up, like, and like offers it to Kim, like, hey, you want this? And she's like, fuck, she just rushes away, rightfully so. She's like, I'm get the fuck out of here. And that's the right thing to do in that situation.
It's so weird.
So
weird and random. You hear the squeaking and I'm thinking he's going to pull out a rat. And nope, he pulls out a space maggot and just kind of like, and she just kind of looks at him like annoyed and just kind of scatters away. Like, I'd be like, holy shit, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird because the way the actors do these motions of something like I pull out this space maggot, and she's just kind of like, ew, you know, like. But they're showing it in such a fashion, like, look at this space maggot. He's holding it in front of the screen, looking all crazy, and she just looks annoyed.
Yeah, and that's what great point, 100% true. Like, she'd be like, what the fuck? And I'd be like, Jesus Christ. I'd be like, get that thing away from me. What is that? And she's like, I've seen it before. It's just gross. I'm leaving. It's the most unnatural reaction to seeing that. It's so, the direction and the choices that they do in this movie are so odd. It's just, I don't get it. I don't. But so back at her apartment, Kim's doing the dishes and finds dozens of cockroaches in her sink, which she tries to spray with like Raid or something. She makes herself some spaghetti and sits down with the Virgin Goddess book and starts flipping through it. She stops on a page that has a drawing of like this spiral symbol, which is labeled symbol of woman's power. That's all it says underneath it. Kim looks over at her spaghetti now and now suddenly sees that same symbol in her spaghetti noodles. And then another cockroach crawls out for some bread, and Kim flips the fuck out and screams. And then now there's a scene with her over at Hank's parents' house, which is decorated for Christmas, including the Christmas tree. She's meeting his family, which consists of Hank's elderly parents and his unrealistic young brother, who's like 13. I mean, keep in mind, Hank is like in his mid-30s, and his parents are at least in their 60s or 70s. But he has a brother who's like 12. Like, no? Like, no. Like, is this kid adopted, maybe? There's no way. Like, no. I'm sorry. It's just bullshit. Also, we learned that Hank's dad hates Jews, which Kim is Jewish. We learned that here, but he hates Jews. Hank himself is also a real horn dog, and he's throughout this whole movie he's always trying to like make out and get it on with Kim like at the worst time and like the most inappropriate times and places. It happens so much in this movie. It's just weird. It's like he's 16 years old or something with his first girlfriend, just wants to make out constantly, no matter what's going on.
Yeah, she does comment, you know, you're a dog in heat, and I'm like, a freak with that one, and got the type of sex, cause me so horny, yeah. So
nice,
little 2 Live Crew for you.
Well done, my friend. Well done. Kim goes back to her place. She looks through the goddess book some more and sees a picture of Lilith being burned. She looks down at the pile of spaghetti that for some insane reason she left on the floor, which again, I don't know who the fuck does that? Like, if you spill your plate of spaghetti, you clean that shit up immediately. You don't just like leave it there for hours and it's like, I'll get to it later.
Well, have you noticed she's got a roach problem, and she doesn't seem to really give too big a shit about the amount of roaches she has. She kind of goes, ew, sprays them dead, and just goes about her business. Probably because she's a dirty motherfucker.
Yeah, if this bitch would clean up her mess, maybe the roaches wouldn't be there. Like, see, like this bothered me so much. Like, I couldn't understand. Like, why would you leave the spaghetti on the floor? Why? That's disgusting. So, I don't know. Anyway, she sees more cockroaches crawling, and that's when she sees a giant fucking cockroach like underneath her couch or her bed or something. Anyway, she grabs a broom and starts trying to track the giant bug around.
I mean, when Marshall says giant cockroach,
we're coming to that.
Small dog.
Yeah, like we haven't seen. Keep in mind, we haven't seen it in its fullest yet. We just kind of see a head underneath a bed or something. So like, oh, it's big.
But even when you see its head, it's like the size of a fucking cat or dog.
Yeah. So she's chasing it around the apartment with this broom, like knocking over furniture with a broom trying to get this thing. And again, the thing's so big that it's running underneath furniture. And when it goes underneath the furniture, it like kicks the furniture up because it's so big when it goes under, the furniture topples over. Where was I? So then, like, out of nowhere, Kim starts getting sick and having like terrible stomach cramps. So she goes to the bathroom, and this is where, and she heads down the bathroom hall. The camera pans over, and this is This is where you see the fucking cockroach. And goddamn, like I said, it's a small. It's not even small. It's like the size of like a Labrador Retriever or like a German Shepherd or something. It's just a giant thing on the wall. Like, how do you not see that when you go past? Like, Kim like should have seen that thing easily. It's insane. It's a giant alien fucking cockroach, man. Kim collapses to the floor, balled up in pain, and then you see one like the giant cockroach. It's like one of its antenna, like reaching through underneath the doorway, trying to poke Kim in the face. It's the oddest thing. It's like, I'm just gonna poke you. I'm just gonna poke you in the face. So we're gonna skip ahead to Kim arriving at FEMA's picnic, where we meet Catherine, an older lady who also works at the bookstore, and there's some other black lady there who we never learned most of these women's names. Not
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't fucking matter what their names is. It doesn't. So, the whole picnic scene is just weird and odd. FEMA is weird and creepy. Kim has one drink of wine and is suddenly like drunk, so drunk that she has to lay down and starts like seeing things or something. She's like looking up at the tree with her arms, like waving her hands above her face. Like, it's odd. It makes no sense. Again, FEMA leans in and kisses Kim. This time she kisses her on the lips, and then they leaves Kim there like to trip out on her wine high. Again, like, what? Why is she kissing her? And Kim's just like, all right, strange lady, you can kiss me some more. Like, it's so odd. It's so weird. And Hank shows up and basically drags Kim back to work. Like, where the fuck what are you doing? Get back to work. We gotta go before you get fired. So Hank and Kim, they go back now. We're skipping. They go back to the suicide where the chalk outline of the dead woman's still on the sidewalk. There's no crime scene tape or anything. It's not roped off. It's just chalk outline and a black awesome. Charred burn outlines of where the legs were, just right there in the middle of the sidewalk. It's fine. You know, it's been a couple of days now. It's still there. They head up to the roof again, where again Hank instantly starts trying to get it on with Kim. He's like, hey, I want to make out with you. Let's fuck you on this rooftop because that's what I do. I'm Hank. She makes out with him for a while. She makes out for a bit. Hank wants like that, but he's like, hey, let's fuck. And she's like, no, I want to, like, I'm going to stay here and look around some more for evidence or clues or something. So Hank's like, whatever, I'm out. And he leaves her alone on the rooftop. Kim ends up going into FEMA's apartment to talk to FEMA. And during this scene, FEMA drugs Kim's tea, who again instantly starts feeling wonky. Like, one sip, she's drugged out of her mind.
It's so nuts because she does it right in front of her face.
Right in front of her.
Like, she just had a trippy wine moment. Like, when she had one sip of wine, you'd think she'd have the wherewithal to be like, don't take what she gives you to drink. Not only does she give her the tea, it's like, oh yeah, here's your drugs. Don't worry, it's a little bitter. You'll be fine.
Yeah, like, she seriously crumbles up some powder or drugs right in front of Kim's face and her tea, like right there on the table, and just hands it to her. And she's like, okay. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why? What? Come on. So, FEMA tells Kim about her daughter, Lily, and how, they're not very close, and they're never close, and she blames her ex-husband for that, and then she says, I chose, I should never have stayed with my husband, or something. Like, I don't know. It's just boring backstory. It doesn't matter. Then she gets really personal and inappropriate by asking about Kim's sex life. It's also really fucking weird. Again, like, this lady is so intrusive to someone she like met yesterday. She's like, hey, why don't you tell me about how you bang your boyfriend?
I feel like the Me So Horny soundtrack should be part of it. Like, the True Life Crew's Me So Horny should be part of the soundtrack. Just playing in the background all the time. Because everyone's all like dry humping and banging, like kissing and like but it's not like they don't present it as a central theme, but it definitely is.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Kim gets really weird, and it's like suddenly changes personality when FEMA like suddenly changes personality when Kim spills her tea she gets all like stern and mother. She's like, "How dare you spill Danny? Don't clear that way." It's really weird. Like just a real fast shift in personality for I don't know. It's odd. Feeling really loopy, Kim lays back on the couch. FEMA gives Kim another one of her chocolate-covered cocoon-looking things. When Kim looks at it in her hand, she sees a large bug. Not the date or whatever Aaron's saying or whatever this thing is that FEMA puts in her hand, but Kim looks at it and sees a bug. And FEMA tells her, eat it. But instead of freaking out and throwing the bug down like she should, Kim just scarfs the bug down in one gulp. And then she's instantly hit with more stomach and abdominal pains. Maybe because you're eating fucking bugs and drugs and who knows what else from a strange ass lady, and you just keep doing, you dumb bitch. Stop it. Anyway, FEMA lays Kim down on the couch. Kim starts having visions of things we've already seen in the movie and some things we have not, just flashes of stuff. And now suddenly there's this new woman who we've never seen before looking down at Kim, who is then surrounded by FEMA, Catherine, and the black girl that we saw earlier. So now this fourth woman's shown up. And now shit starts getting really fucking bananas here. They strip off Kim's clothes. Like, they strip her naked, and they draw some black lines on her head and a spiral on her stomach. And FEMA calls in Clint Howard, whose name we learn is Ricky, which is the only fucking connection this movie has to the rest of the series, because we talked about earlier. Other than one super brief shot of like Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 on a TV screen later on at some point. But I got so confused at this. I'm like, okay, is this supposed to be Ricky from the previous movie? Are we supposed to believe that like serial killer Ricky is now like a homeless thrall of some crazy coven? And also, if it is him, where the fuck is this fishbowl brain dome at? Like, what? Like, or is this like just the writer saying, "We'll just name this guy Ricky because that will be the homage to the previous series, even though he's not the same character"? That's just almost a slap in the face. I think that makes it even worse. I think they should just named him like fucking Philip or something or Adam and not Ricky.
This is so bad. Like, I didn't even realize it I'm just looking at like. Clint Howard. Yeah, okay, Clint Howard. And I hear them saying, Clint Howard, come in this room. You're right. They do name him Ricky, but I never pay attention. I'm just like, oh, yeah. And you make a great point. It's probably an homage, I guess, to the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 and 3. If it is supposed to be him, fuck you. Because Ricky in Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 was a goddamn stud. You know, and then you replace him, okay, sure, with Bill Moseley. He's been worse for wear. He's been, comatose for a while. But then he turns into Clint Howard?
Yeah.
Come on.
Like I said, in 3, Ricky was a fucking, like, he was mute. Like, he did talk, and he had a fucking brain dome. Like, his head, like, what? He was like a fucking cyborg or something in the third one. Now he's like this homeless dude. Like, seriously, like, don't name him Ricky. Like, if he's not going to be the character from the other movies, then name him something else. That's just, to me, that's, like, insulting. But whatever. I don't know. So, anyway, Ricky comes in holding one of the giant white alien bugs that we saw earlier and places it on Kim's stomach. Catherine sprinkles some dirt on Kim while saying some incantation or something. Then covers her stomach with a sheet, and the bug with a sheet. FEMA holds up a rat and kills it and lets the blood drip down onto the bug, which then burrows its way into Kim's stomach, who starts screaming in agony and has to be held down. We see the bug thingy crawling under Kim's skin, like up her torso. Catherine tells Kim to make her fear real to get it out. So as if this shit wasn't bonkers enough, Kim now vomits out a 3-foot-long cockroach centipede hybrid. It's fucking insane, dude. Like, what the shit is happening at this point? It's beyond crazy.
It's so nuts. You don't even have time to breathe yet.
You don't.
Because as soon as she pukes it out, like, they come over and chop it in half.
Yeah, Ricky comes over and cuts the vomit bug in half.
Drool over his face.
Yeah. And like, so he takes the lower half and holds it upside down over Kim's face, letting like the slimy bug goo shit fall out and plop in gooey globs onto Kim's face and just covers her with like a bug facial. It's disgusting.
She's getting cockroach bukkake.
Yeah. So then it just cuts to Kim jolting awake on the couch, fully dressed, cleaned up like nothing ever happened, with no sign of any of the other women or Ricky. But when she goes to the door, she slowly gets surrounded by all the other women. They try to convince Kim to stay. Catherine says to Kim, she, meaning Kim, needs to finish. Kim just wants to leave and asks Fema what she wants from her, to which Fema says, I just want my daughter back. Kim makes a break for the door, manages to escape the apartment, and Fema orders the black girl to go get Ricky. Kim gets back to her place, finds Hank asleep in her bed, and at this point, she has this crazy fucking breakdown, and long story, she basically ends up trying to kill herself by downing a bottle of pills, but Hank stops her, and Kim calms the fuck down after breaking a mirror. That calms her down. And this whole scene is just so fucking weird that I don't even really want to try to explain it more than that. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. Like, Kim's attitude and behavior just change and flip-flopping all over the place. I don't get it. It's just, I don't know.
Don't break it down.
Yeah, I'm not. So when she does calm down, she suddenly loses her memory. So she's calmed down. She's like, Hank? Is that you? What are you doing here? Like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, how do you lose your memory in a matter of like a second? Like, what? And it gets even more fucking wackadoodle here because now Kim is suddenly all horny and all turned on by the fact that Hank was sleeping. She tells Hank that he looks like a little boy in his nightshirt. He's wearing like an Ebenezer Scrooge nightshirt type thing, which is really fucking creepy considering that she's getting all horned up and says, you look like a little boy, and apparently that turns me on. I want to fuck you looking like a little kid. That's some crazy shit right there. So she takes him to bed, she gets on top of him, strips off her top, and starts to fuck him. While telling him to just lay there and pretend to be asleep. So this is some weird dark fetish shit going on right here. This is just insanity.
I don't know, I kind of like it. I'm like, this is interesting. Now we're getting weird. All right.
Everything about this whole scene just gets fucking weirder and weirder. So, because now Ricky walks into the apartment, walks into the bedroom while Kim's riding Hank, just standing there, looks at him for a bit. Neither one of them notice Ricky staying right there next to him. So Ricky just goes over and takes a seat on the end of the bed next to him while they're banging, turns on the TV, and this is where we get that archive footage of Saturday Night Deadly Night 3. They still don't notice Ricky, even though you don't feel, you would feel somebody come in and sit on the end of the bed. You would hear
turning on a TV.
Yes, turning on the TV. You would hear that shit. But they don't. It's not until Ricky starts laughing at the TV that they finally notice him and stop fucking. Hank and Kim leap out of bed. Hank pulls on some pants, and Ricky basically says to Kim, "Hey, you have to come back with me. So let's go." It's not like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you."
I do like when they discover Ricky. They're like, "Whoa!" He looks at him and goes, "Hey, Killer Santa."
Yeah, he's not even care about the thing. He's like, he's I don't know. He's got like this ignorant, like boyish, like kind of half retarded mentality to him. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but he's not right. He's obviously not right in the head. So Ricky gets really confused when Kim says no, she's not going to go with him. Like, why aren't you going to? I told you have to come with me. I got to take you back. And she's like, no. And Ricky's confused by that. Anyway, it leads to a fight between Ricky and Hank, during which Ricky continues to try to get Kim to come. He's like, hey, just come with me. That's all I want. Just come on. Stop this. Basically, the fight ends when Ricky kills Hank with a knife, but we don't really see anything because Kim's hiding under the bed at this point. And all we see is Ricky holding Hank from behind and like more and more blood come like running down Hank's leg until he drops to the floor dead. That's all you really see of the kill. Ricky finds Kim under the bed, and who's been like, during the fight got tied up with like medical tape or something.
Yeah.
But before he can leave with her, in comes Janice. But instead of saving Kim, we find out that Janice has been part of FEMA's group all along. And she's like, no, you got to go with him. You know, it's okay, but you go with Ricky. I'm going to clean up here. So Janice, tells Ricky to take Kim straight over to FEMA's while she stays behind to clean up. We cut to Ricky locking Kim in the Asian butcher's meat locker that's filled with all sorts of like hanging slabs of meat and carcasses.
So we have the it's all tied in the same building now. So
yes.
We have the Asian man who earlier could barely speak a line of English. You know, apparently it's his butcher shop now that she's in.
Yeah, she's in the butcher shop, which is like next door to the bookstore, so it's all in the same building.
Yeah, and it's so weird because these pigs that she's like, there's like full hogs hanging in there.
Yeah,
and
you expect to see
like
Rocky in there like punching cow slabs, you know. Like,
they look so bad. They look like paper mache pigs.
Yeah, they don't look very good. And like I said, if things haven't been crazy enough for you yet, well, you're in luck because shit's about to get even more fucking bonkers from here on out, if that's even possible. Because now, okay, for some reason, Kim falls asleep in the meat locker, which boggles my mind. Like, if I've just been kidnapped and I'm naked, find myself naked or not naked, she's not naked. I get kidnapped and locked in a meat locker. I'm not gonna be falling asleep. I'm like trying to find a way out. My adrenaline would be going, but she just passes out. She falls asleep.
I mean, to her defense, she has been drugged and she went through some crazy shit. She just had a traumatic experience seeing her boyfriend killed. She might just shut down. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
All right. Fair enough. But when she wakes up, now she's been stripped out of all of her clothes, so she's naked, and she's wrapped in some sort of like red and black robe. All the other women are in there with her, including some more women we've never seen before. Like there's this naked blonde chick just standing there. The only reason she's in this movie is to show her tits. Just some random naked blonde chick showing her tits in a meat locker.
That a girl.
What? Why? Why is she naked? None of the other women except for Kim are naked, but there's this one random blonde chick naked in a meat locker. It's fucking hilarious. They force Kim to drink some kind of liquid from like this ritual bowl. We see Ricky standing there. He's naked, wearing a mask with a giant dick nose on it. Ricky is also given the bowl of liquid to drink. FEMA places Kim in a chair. Ricky kneels down in front of her while Catherine does some ritual shit behind him. And here you can see just how cheap and crappy the dick mask looks, because it looks like it's, again, paper mache just kind of glued together. It's really bad looking. There's several other women here start covering Ricky in, I don't know what, but like copious amounts of like, I guess like KY jelly or something, like massaging his shoulders.
It's pig fat. It's pig fat. It's because it's not kosher. She can't stand it. She's Jewish. Oh no! The horror!
So, Ricky starts fucking Kim while the old ladies, like, continue to rub him. Like, seriously, the ladies rubbing him are, like, in their 80s or 90s. Like, they're old ladies rubbing him down like this KY jelly.
Juice.
This whole scene is just a sight to behold. Like, I'm not doing it just. It's insane. Like, it's such a visual. What? I mean, yeah, go on.
I got some like Devil and Miss Jones vibes.
Yes, I was about to bring it up. That's the first. When I saw the penis mask, I was like, "Oh my god, this is Devil and Miss Jones in hell about to fuck Cyrano de Bergerac in that scene." And I was like, I thought for sure Ricky was gonna fuck her with that mask, but no, he just bangs her regularly. But that's the first thing I thought of too.
Well, should we tell them what Devil and Miss Jones is? It's like a porn from the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Where it starts off in hell, where this woman fucks Sergio de Bergerac, who's known for having a gigantic nose, but he's a wordsmith. And he has a penis nose in hell, and she basically fucks his face and then gets out of hell.
Yeah.
Why do we know that? But anyway, that's what it's from.
You kind of broke up there for a minute, so I hope it came through. So after this, we cut to Kim laying naked on a Persian rug, still in the meat locker, covered by what looks like an ugly curtain now. Not the robe she's wearing, but just like some kind of ugly looking curtain. She starts having pains, which cause her to contort her body. There is a good looking effect now of her fingers. Like they start intertwining and merging together and like fusing together. And they turn into like this, some sort of like living monster with a face for a moment. It's fucking creepy, and it does look pretty good.
This is where you start getting like flashes of society.
Yeah.
You know, and like the body mutations and things like that, which happen later on, are just right on the corner, or happening now, actually. And you're definitely like, oh, okay, now I'm seeing writing on the wall for society coming for, starting here.
Yeah.
She's shunting before shunting was a thing.
Yeah. But she is able to pull her hands and fingers apart, putting an end to that whatever the shit was happening to her. Kim then falls to the floor, and like she's sitting on the floor with her back up against the wall. And then we see like vanilla yogurt come squirting out from her vagina as she screams in pain. And then her legs seem to get fused together and start to like roll up on themselves, starting at their feet. It's pretty fucking gnarly looking. And it looks like something from like a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Like it's pretty awesome, but it's fucking weird.
I like how you go vanilla yogurt.
I don't know what else to say.
You can just say it's the stuff.
The stuff?
The
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
starts coming out of her stuff.
Anyway, this scene is so bonkers. It's so crazy. It's hard to describe. Like, you just have to visually see it. At this point now, Kim is covered in goo, and she starts trying to crawl across the floor, which looks like it's covered in like vomit and shit, which it wasn't before, but it is now. She looks over and sees more of the giant alien bugs crawling over like the giant meat slabs hanging on hooks, and behind that is Hank's dead body hanging from his nipples by two small hooks. At this point,
it's like one of those bondage kind of guys.
Yeah, it's that performance thing where people like hang themselves. That's exactly what
Dude, I am not into that. I always think that's just like, ugh, like I know that people like, look, I'm weird and creepy. I'm hanging by hooks. I get off on this. I'm like, really, man? Really?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Not my thing either, man. I think that stuff's pretty disgusting. And
here's a funny thing, though. They like to show it off.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them do. Like, I'm going to go to this Comic-Con and show you me hanging, like the CreepyCon. We went to CreepyCon.
Yeah, I was just about to say they were people there at CreepyCon doing that.
It's a weird, like,
it's like modern day freak show stuff. Like, they do it, they'll get paid or like
fun. It's like, I'm not quite hot enough to be naked and dancing for money or having sex for money. So I'm just going to hang by hooks and get paid. And it's sexy. It's ugh. I'm just not into it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my thing either. But so after seeing Hank's body, at this point, Kim passes out again. Like, this woman has passed out so many times in this movie up to now. Like, it's like her third or fourth time she's passed out already. We cut to the Asian butcher entering the meat locker, which wakes Kim up. Her legs are wrapped in what looks like a cocoon. At this point, like, it looks like,
or she's shedding a skin.
Yeah, like shedding skin or something like that. It's really odd. Nobody comments on it ever. Like, the butcher doesn't say anything. Kim doesn't even say anything about it. She's like, oh, I guess I'm shedding my skin now or in a cocoon. No reactions whatsoever, which again is insane to think about. The butcher is followed in by this Asian girl, that's part of FEMA's coven or crew or whatever, and she gives Kim her clothes back. The butcher tells Kim that she has been initiated, and then like basically kicks her out. It's like, you have to go now. You get out of here. Kim goes straight to the bookstore for some reason. Instead of going to the cops or going home, she goes to the bookstore where FEMA calls her Lily. Not Kim. She's like, oh, Lily, there you are. And we learn that Lily, Fima's daughter, was the girl who jumped off the building that caught on fire in the beginning of the movie. Fima says her daughter was too weak, but now Kim has come to take her place. Catherine and Fima tell Kim that she's one of them now, that she has been freed from the parasite that is man. That is
one of us. You're a lesbian now. Yay.
Yeah, pretty much.
So is this
Fima
like
goes on to say that
movie?
Kim,
They have
through
to go
magic, has given birth to the fear inside her, thus expelling the fear from her body. Which I'm going to come back on that in a moment, because later doesn't really make sense where they're going with that. But
so I find this really strange. It's like, you're now one of us. You're free from man. Does that mean you're a lesbian? It's like, and if you're going to be a lesbian in this world, you have to go through this insane, bug-laden, body-morphing, like trippy-inducing, metaphysical transformation just so you can eat some snatch. Like, that's a little far out.
yeah, it's like trying to wrap your head around this movie and what's going on. It will make your brain hurt. It's just ludicrous. It's so Kim asks if Hank is really dead, to which Fima just says, he's just a man. Like that, what? Like, who cares if he's just a man? Fuck him anyway, who cares? Catherine then says to Kim that she is not finished yet, that Kim needs a life to feed the fear. Fima wants Kim to go kidnap Hank's younger 13-year-old brother, bring him to them so they can sacrifice him to Kim's fear, that she has to nurture her new power.
God damn.
What? Kim refuses at first, but then she gets hit with agonizing pain. Fima tells her that if she doesn't feed the power, it will kill her. And then, so Kim leaves, and Fima sends Ricky to follow her and keep tabs on her and help her out. Here's something that dawned on me that when I was watching that doesn't make sense to me. The whole movie doesn't make sense, but so they just told her that basically through magic, she had given birth to the fear inside of her and expelling the fear from her body. So that means she should now be free of fear and have no fear. Fear should not have effect on her. But then they say, oh, you have to feed that fear so it doesn't kill you. But she just expelled the fear, so it shouldn't be in her to kill her at all. This is where it gets, it's so contradictory and confusing. Like, I don't know where they're going with this. I don't think they knew what they were doing when they were writing this, because it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. So, next is a scene of Kim back at her place with a detective trying to convince him that Hank was killed here, but all signs of the murder have been cleaned up. Nothing else happens. We're moving on. It's a dumb scene. Now we jump back to the newspaper office having a Christmas party. Kim crashes the party. She storms and she's yelling at Reggie Bannister, demanding to know where Hank is. And he tells her that Hank's been sent out on assignment. He's out, and he's not here. So I'm like, is he in on it too then? Like, why? What? Like I don't know. I don't get it. Janice is there. She tells Kim that she looks wonderful, welcomes her to the family, and then gives Kim a kiss and reminds Kim to bring them the boy. Kim gets mad, slaps the drink out of Janice's hand, and runs out of the building. Outside, she sees Ricky standing next to her car, and it's really, really brief, but I know there's something really strange about her car, and I can't explain why this is for the life of me. Yeah, what?
Well, I've been waving at you for like the last 10 minutes. I keep trying to talk, but you're not hearing me. I love that party scene where she slaps drinks out of like 3 different people's hands.
Yeah. And
like shoves a drink into Reggie Bannister's face, slaps another bitch's drink, and then beats Janice about the head and shoulders while her drinks flying around. I love it. She hates drinks. She just loves like smashing drinks in people's faces. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, it is pretty. I will say it's pretty entertaining. You are right about that. But what I was about to say about this car is I can't explain why it's this way at all. But for some reason, the car's license plate is backwards. All the letters and numbers are backwards. Like, I don't get it. Like, it makes nothing else in the movie, in the scene, is like reversed, but the license plate is completely reversed. It blew my mind why that is. I don't know. Kim runs off, but Ricky does see her and he follows after her. And Kim heads to the small local motel and sneaks into one of the empty rooms, locking the door behind her. She looks over the TV, which is playing lesbian porn, just playing on the TV. And then FEMA pops on the TV and starts talking to Kim through the TV, telling her that Kim has no choice. She must bring them the boy, that she must feed her fears or they will feed on her. Again, even though she is supposed to have expelled those fears by vomiting out the alien cockroach hybrid centipede thing. So she's supposed to be fearless now, but now the fear is going to kill her. It makes zero sense. I don't get it. Again, at this point, her fingers begin to distort and twist around like tentacles. But it's kind of funny. If you look really, really closely at the bottom of the screen, you can see the actress's hands holding up the fake hands. It's really brief, but you can see it. And then Kim's stomach then begins to burn from inside and sizzle, and smoke starts to come off of her. She runs into the bathroom, turns on the shower and gets in and tries to cool off in the water. She looks down at her legs, which have turned black. And are you ready for this shit? Her legs then spontaneously combust into flames. They just catch fire in the shower. Ricky breaks in through the bathroom window. Kim starts begging him for help. Ricky tells her, just like, you just do what FEMA asks you to do. Just do what she says, and it will stop. So at this point,
this scene. I love this scene. I love how she's just like freaking out in the shower. There's steam everywhere. There's flames bursting. And Clint Howard's like, come on, man. Just calm down. Do what she wants. And she's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's 1,000%. That's exactly it. She gives in and says, fine, I'll do what FEMA says. And she looks down at her legs, and the flames are gone at this point, along with the pain. They just disappear as soon as she says she'll do it. So now we cut to Ricky and Kim pulling up to Hank's parents' house in what can only be described as the Sexual Predators RX Special Edition van. Kim tells Ricky to stay in the van, that she'll take care of it. Inside, Hank's parents and Lonnie, the brother, have finished opening their presents. Lonnie's wearing his new Tommy Jarvis fur-lined denim jacket, while the father plays with his new camcorder. Kim rings the doorbell while Ricky hides around the side of the house. Lonnie answers the door. She wishes him a Merry Christmas and which is kind of, I thought that was fucking kind of dark and demented. Like, you know, you're going there to kidnap and kill this kid. You're like, Merry Christmas. Like, I don't know, but
just give that man another reason to hate the Jews.
Yeah. So she tells him that Hank is in the van. So Lonnie, you want to see my puppy dog in the van trick? Like, this kid, like, you know not to go into a stranger's van. But he rushes over to the van with Kim. Kim hops in the driver's seat. Lonnie's in the passenger seat and asks him where Hank is. She tells him that, he'll be right back. At this point, Ricky, for some reason, just invades the parents' house for no reason. They have Lonnie in the van. He could have gotten in the van. They could have driven off fine. But Ricky just goes into the house, attacks the mom with, like, medical tape. He's like, ha-ha, bitch, I'm going to tape you up. Hearing the mom scream, the father gets up shouting, what's going on here? Ricky turns his attention to the father and is like, just relax, man. Just relax. The father hits Ricky in the face with the camcorder. Ricky gets up, tackles the father into the Christmas tree, then kills the father by strangling him with a string of Christmas lights, during which the lights then seem to also spontaneously combust for some reason, and the whole Christmas tree goes up in flames. It's fucking insane. Like, first of all, the strangle with the lights, it looks terrible. It looks like shit. But there's no reason why this tree should just erupt into flames out of nowhere. It doesn't make any sense, but it happens. Seeing smoke billowing out of his front door, Lonnie tries to get out of the van, but Kim hits the gas and starts to drive away. Lonnie leaps in the back and opens the sliding door to jump out the side. But as soon as he opens the sliding door, there's Ricky running alongside the van. He leaps in, blocking Lonnie from getting out, and they drive off.
I love it. That's so much fun. that whole sequence, that feels a little bit more like a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that a little bit, yeah.
That has more like that. You're killing a family at a Christmas time, all that stuff. Like that feels more Silent Night, Deadly Night. You get a little taste.
So now we cut back to the rooftop of the building, the main building, for the big climax here, and all of our main women are there. All the Lonnie's being like held down or tied down to the roof. His guys. One woman's like holding his ankles, the other's holding his wrist up above his head. And I think he's tied with rope too somewhere. I don't know. They rip his shirt open, and Catherine comes in, draws some black lines on him, on his face and torso, then hands FEMA a ritual knife, and FEMA then gives that knife to Kim. At this point, several of the giant white alien-looking bug larva things start falling out of that vent. And Ricky just stands there watching this happen. I mean, these are just flopping out. There's so many of them. FEMA tells Kim to do it now, but Kim hesitates, not wanting to kill Lonnie. FEMA keeps telling her that she has to do it. She has no choice. Kim still hesitates. At this point, FEMA starts getting mad at Kim, demanding to know why Kim continues to defy her after all that she has done for her. All that she's done for her is she's basically like ruined her life. Like, you've poisoned her. You've basically sexually assaulted her. You had her raped by Ricky. You've had bugs crawl inside of her, vomit out other bugs. Why would she want to do anything for you? And FEMA's like, whatever. I love it.
Forget your boyfriend got killed.
It cracks me up. So a few of the those giant white alien bug things start crawling their way over to Lonnie. Catherine and the other women are just standing around chanting like, kill him, kill him. They're just chanting that. FEMA grabs Kim's hand that's holding the knife and raises it above Kim's head, and forcing Kim to do this. And then FEMA thrusts Kim's hands down towards Lonnie for the killing blow, but at the last second, Kim pulls her hand back and stabs FEMA in the stomach with the ritualistic knife.
Whoa!
The other women rush to FEMA's aid. Kim unties Lonnie, who then scurries away and kind of hides. The women help FEMA to her feet, who pulls a knife out of her gut and approaches Kim. But at this point, Ricky then steps in between them, begging FEMA not to hurt Kim. Not wanting to hear that shit, FEMA just stabs Ricky in the stomach and then eviscerates him by pulling the blade up through his torso, just like gutting him. Getting him like a fish. Ricky falls over in a pile of trash, and about half a dozen of those like white alien bug things start swarming him, like latching onto his like bloody open torso wound, like leeches or something.
They trap all the weird little worm guys, and they go running over. I think Ricky and our female hero have. They bonded over kidnapping. I think that's what it was. They had a moment. Maybe we didn't quite see it on camera, but they had a moment where they bonded.
Kim gets wrecked with pain again. FEMA says, "See, you didn't listen. Now you're going to burn, and I won't have a daughter." Kim gives some short heroic speech about how she's not like FEMA. She's not like this isn't her. And again. At this point, her hands and her fingers like start merging together and distort, and they get all entangled together, and they elongate, and these entangled fingers, like I said, they elongate, and then they burst into flames. They erupt into flames too for some reason, and it kind of looks like a gross, twisted alien dick on fire. It's basically what is coming off of her hands at this point. Kim shouts out that she's like, "I'm not like you, and I'm not gonna die for you either." And with that, Kim thrusts her flaming alien dick finger hand into FEMA's body, into where the bloody knife wound was and completely through FEMA. And then when Kim pulls her hands out, they've returned to normal now. Her hands are perfectly fine now. FEMA then erupts into flames, like full body burn, just head to toe, boosh, into flames. And she flings herself basically off the roof, just like her dog. She throws herself off the roof. The flaming FEMA plummets to the sidewalk below where she dies on impact. The rest of the Covenant just all look at Kim, and then Kim's looking at them. And then Kim just turns and walks away to go get Lonnie. And the Covenant just they should you just killed our leader. How they're not attacking Kim or reacting to this at all? They're just all right.
Kim is their new leader. She killed the head witch, so that's what it is.
I thought that too, but I don't know. She didn't go through with the ceremony, so she's not completely one of them. Anyway, so Kim goes over to Lonnie, and she just hugs him. She hugs Lonnie and says, "It's all over now. It's all over." The remaining women just stare down at FEMA's burning corpse on the sidewalk, fade to white, blackout, roll credits. That's fucking Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, guys. That's the movie, and Aaron's giving me the bird. He's flicking me off.
Fuck this movie. Jesus Christ. Well, let me wait to tell you how I feel.
Well, yeah. We'll come up to that, but let's not go into this week's favorite kills.
Don't act like you didn't love it. Favorite kill.
All right, so this movie, again, this is one of those movies where the kills just suck. Hardly anything happens. Nobody really ever dies. It's just a shit bore, but we always have to pick something. So, Aaron, what's your choice for this week?
Actually, I'm kind of torn. I'm torn between the very first image, the very first death / kill of the full body burn, jump off the roof, or Clint Howard being eviscerated with the space maggots eating him afterwards. I think I'm going to go with the first one. Go with, I guess it's Lindsay. I guess that's her name. Lily, thank you. Lily, who throws herself off the building because it's so unexpected and it is very jarring. And the way her body burns is very weird. And they are kind of signaling how weird it is. I mean, when Clint Howard sees it, he's like, what? He's like, that doesn't make sense. He's kind of poking at it, So, yeah, I'm going to go with Lily, the full body burn stunt man jumping off the roof, dying. Yeah,
I agree with you exactly. I'm torn between those are the only two that really matter, Ricky and the opening one, because I thought the same thing when that first opening scene, and oh shit, this bird just burst into flame and Plum's okay, I'm intrigued, this could be, I'm interested. This is gonna be good. That's the last of it. It just goes downhill from there. It's fuck that. But then Ricky's the only one that's actually somewhat the evisceration when she rips him open and the alien bug thing start eating him. That's pretty crazy. But at that point, I don't know if that was enough to save the movie. So I'm thinking with you. I'm thinking the opening one, just because it grabs your attention. But because it's a very, I don't know, because it misleads you. It's a trick. It's a trap kill is what it is. So, now fuck it. Even though it's a trap, I'll just go with the first one because it's the only one that kind of catches your eye.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because the way you described it, and actually the way it ends, when FEMA is killed by alien dick hand's flaming sword, basically driven through her stomach, and then she catches it in fire and jumps off just like Lily. It sounds like that would be way more spectacular.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm at the end of the movie. I'm just fucking die. Sure, alien dick hand stab wound with a flaming. Sure, whatever we need to do to get us out of here.
I feel you. Yeah, it's a great. Coach said that's a great way. All right, so let's just move on to odds and ends.
Just when you thought it was over, here comes the odds and ends.
All right, ratings. IMDb gives it a 3.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, there is no official thermometer score, but it has an 18% audience score.
Wow.
And Amazon gives it 4 out of 5.
Assholes.
So, plot keywords. There were 55 plot keywords, and oh boy, were there some crazy ones we've never seen before. Keep in mind, I wrote these down before I even watched the movie, so I was like, what the fuck am I in for? So we have male rear nudity, male nudity, female nudity, bare-chested male, lesbian kiss, feminism, witchcraft, bug, rape, one word, bug rape, spontaneous combustion, bug birth, sadomasochism, hot, sexploitation, lesbian, castration, street punk, voodoo, uterus, maggot, and amniotic fluid were all plot keywords for this movie. I'm like, dear God, what is this? That if I gave you those words and say there's a movie about this, your mind, like, what would you be thinking you were about to watch? Because goddamn. First of all, bug rape? I don't remember anybody getting raped by a bug or raping a bug, so I don't know what that is. Bug birth, hot, sexploitation, castration? I don't remember anybody getting castrated either, but okay.
Whatever.
And street punk? Who's the street punk? Ricky? He's just a homeless dude. He's not a street punk. Voodoo? They're not voodoo practitioners. They're witches, I guess. Maggot, I don't know. It's just, those are crazy words. I was like, that's insane. All right, so moving on. Trivia. There were 3 things I got down from this. So, it's nothing major, but this marks the first of 2 times Clint Howard has played a character named Ricky. He's the only actor to play him more than once, not counting the archive. And it's unclear if he's playing the same character from the first 2 films. So I don't know. Basically, he played Ricky a second time in some other movie. I don't know. It's lame, I know, but there's not much to work with here. Screenwriter Woody Keith incorporates several ideas and scenarios that he had originally envisioned for his previous film, Society. So there's your connection. He wrote Society, but had been unable to fit it into the storyline. The film's U.S. release would predate that of Society by nearly 2 years. So this was released before Society, but Society was written and I guess made before, but it got released after. So yeah, that's a good call that there was very, very much some Society-esque moments in this movie because it's written by the same guy who said, hey, I didn't get into my other movie. I'm going to put it in this one, basically. And lastly, the basis for the film's script was originally meant for the 3rd Silent Night, Deadly Night film, but ended up being used here after the makers of that film turned the original script down. So this was supposed to be Silent Night, Deadly Night 3 originally, but they scrapped it for what the other one was. And that's all I got for trivia this week. I couldn't find much.
Okay.
So we'll just move on to this Mortal Kombat Combat.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Fight to survive!
Good versus bad. Right versus wrong. Light versus dark. In the end, when the dust settles, who will be left standing after Mortal Kombat Combat?
All right, so we'll see who wins this combat. Who wins this fight this year? This week, actually, not year. So there are only 20 reviews on Amazon for this movie. 60% are 5-star reviews, with only 9% 1-star. However, of those 60% 5 stars, very few people actually wrote anything down. So the only one I really have to read is from Brian, who writes, please put this on DVD. I have part 1 and 2 and 3 on DVD. I think they need to put part 4 and 5 in DVD. That's how it's written. I think they need to put part 4 and 5 and DVD. I hope someday they will come out with a box set or something like that to have all the movies on DVDs 5-star. That's the only written 5-star review of this movie on Amazon.
That's crazy.
So, moving on to the 1-stars, where the 1-stars get a little more outspoken. Even though there's few of them, they definitely are more outspoken. From Ted, I thought nothing could be worse than part 2 or 3. But we have a new candidate here for Initiation, which should have been the title of the movie, is the worst in the series by far. First off, it has nothing to do with the series. It doesn't have anything to do with Christmas. Don't be fooled by the Christmas tree on the cover. You won't see Santa in this movie. And the isn't even remotely entertaining to say the least. It's about the cult who manipulates a TV reporter into joining their cult. The movie has stupid effects with bugs, as other reviewers have said. And the effects are downright awful. This is the Halloween 3 of the series. It is a bad excuse for a side story that should have never been a movie in the first place, just like Season of the Witch or New Beginning of Friday the 13th, for that matter. In other words, the movie doesn't belong. Skip this and see the classic horror movie 1984 Silent Night, Deadly Night. Instead, you will all be glad you did. 1 star. I kind of like the fact he brought up Halloween Part 3 and compared to, because he's kind of right on that. I kind of agree.
You son of a bitch, Tom Atkins is a gem.
Oh, stop sucking Tom Atkins' dick already. Jesus Christ.
Never.
God. Then you got some mustache. I think you got some of his mustache hair on your cock right there, man. Jesus.
It's chest hair. He doesn't have a lot of it, so it comes out easily.
From Gunther. I love this Silent Night, Dead Night series, and I shudder to think I almost gave this series up after seeing this crap. My first viewing of any chapter in the series. That said, he watched this one first.
Ouch.
It involves a woman being forced to join an evil cult of man-hating she-demons. Their henchman is named Ricky, but it's definitely not the Ricky from the last 3 films. He is well acted by Clint Howard, but a very boring character. All the acting here is horrid, except for Clint's, of course. And the story is confusing, boring, sexist, and just plain bad. True, the first one in the series was bad, but in a good, fun sort of way. This movie just sucks. The special effects are good, but that and Clint are the only things that are. This movie has very little to do with Christmas and nothing to do with the first 3 films. Silent Night, Deadly Night Parts 2, 3, and 5 are all 5-star movies. The original is only a 3-star movie, and this is a no-star movie. I only gave 1 star because I had to. Please avoid Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation like the plague. It is very, very bad. 1 star. All right, last 2 I read real quick from Mr. Movie Man. Waste of money, waste of film, just plain bad. I don't really enjoy any of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, especially this one. It has nothing to do with the original movie or Christmas. Was this some sort of joke? Did they make it just for a laugh? It sure looks like it. Oh man, I'd buy a copy of this movie just to tape over it. Freaky, satanic cult, confusing plot, not to mention boring. Please take this one off the shelf and pretend it was never made. I was very disappointed in this movie. I should have just stopped after part 1, 1 star. Now, this last one is from a guy, I believe we've seen him a few times on the show before as a reviewer. Sid the Elf. I know I've said that name several times before. His is written a little funny because it's written as if we're supposed to know who this guy is. Like some random person is going to know who he is just automatically. So when it comes to the Christmas season, we feel it necessary to sprinkle in some B relating to our favorite holiday. Since it's our roots, we always like to bring at least one horror into play. Last year we went with the extremely laughable Christmas Evil and decided this year to go with one of the Silent Night, Deadly Night flicks. The reason for choosing the 4th installment was simple. Clint Howard! With that name tagged to a movie, there really is no other choice besides moving forward. Unfortunately, this mess couldn't capitalize off a very insane homeless Howard, leaving it a 1 star at best. Well, 1 star. So I just read that because this guy's like, are we supposed to know who the fuck he is or who we are or what they do? Like, don't write shit like that in your review because nobody fucking knows you. Get over yourself. Like, come on, just write a goddamn review. But anyway, that's what other people had to say. Let's move on.
All right.
Who wins? I think we know who's winning this combat this week, but Aaron, what's your final takes on this?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much so bad it's scary. I at least appreciated Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, which I also said was so bad it's scary, because at least they kept a character and tried to keep some continuity going, no matter how like bizarre and twisted and stupid it really was. But this one had no connection whatsoever to the previous 3 in any way, shape, or form, other than they literally just threw in Christmas just as a backdrop. It doesn't have anything to do with it at all. I didn't like Clint Howard. I think he was wasted. I think he did well for what he had, but I mean, he seemed pretty wasted. You also had Reggie Bannister, and he was also, I didn't even know who he fucking was. So he was wasted. Yeah, I'm just really disappointed. I noticed right off the bat in the credits how it was presented. they're doing the opening, produced by, directed by, and then it shows, and it presents, and then it shows the title, and I'm expecting to see Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, but it says,
Initiation.
Initiation, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. I'm like, oh no, this was a whole different movie that was being written first. It was a whole movie being written outside the whole scope of Silent Night, Deadly Night, anything to do with Christmas. It was about this weird cult, and they're going to do this, and the weird space bugs. But they're like, okay, well, that's not going to sell, and so hold on. Let's throw in a little bit of Christmas. I bet we can get the rights to Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. They'll be like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. Slap it on a VHS copy, put it direct to video. We're good to go. People are going to buy it just because it says Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, even though it's a completely different story. Fuck that shit. That pisses me off. It makes me so angry that they do that kind of crap. Fuck them and their stupid holiday faces.
Wow. Well. Yeah, I can't really argue anything you said, man. I agree 100%. Again, same. I'm going to relate it back to Halloween 3. It's the same thing. Season of the Witch. Like, if this movie was just called Initiation and not part of the series, it'd still be a bad movie, but it wouldn't be as disappointing as bad because you don't have the expectations that it is going to be a Christmas slasher like the other ones.
Agreed.
And that's the same thing happened with Season of the Witch. You expect to see Michael Myers in a Halloween movie and you get hit with that crap. It's like a slap to the fans. So yeah, I agree with you 100% on that, and the people who wrote about that. This movie it's just fucking weird, man. It's bonkers. It's bananas. It's ludicrous. It's insane. It makes no sense. It's so weird. You don't really know what's happening or why it's happening. Like, I don't know why bugs are the thing in this. I don't know why the bugs are so fucking big. I don't know why they're living. You don't understand anything about this, and why I don't know why a coven or cult of man-hating witches, I guess, have Ricky. If they hate men so much, like why do we even want him around? Like, they just why do have a homeless girl? Like, it should be a girl doing that, not a guy. It doesn't make sense. I don't know, but it's so. I'm torn because yes, this is a terrible movie. It's fucking garbage, but it's so far out there, like with the insanity that is happening in this movie, that it almost, like, I cannot do it justice. You have to visually just see the shit that's going down to like fully grasp the span of its insanity, of its craziness. But I don't. I say watch at your own risk. There's a lot of boring parts. I'm still saying so bad it's scary.
Thank you.
But it's. If you want to try watch it, just fast forward through it. Watch the crazy parts and be done with it. It's free on Tubi, so it's not going to cost you anything. But it's probably still not worth it. So bad it's scary, which is really disappointing. I was hoping you finally get another good Silent Night, Deadly Night movie, even though we haven't the last. Really, since the first one, in my opinion, none of them have really been that fun. 2, I thought was terrible.
How dare you? Number 2 is a goddamn gem.
Number 2, in reality, is only about 30 minutes long because the other hour is just the entire retelling of the first movie. It's the lamest filmmaking.
Love it.
It's bad. And then 3 we did last year. That's terrible as well. I didn't think we could get worse than 3. 3 was so bad. But at the same time, at least it was somehow connected to the first 2. This one doesn't, and it makes it even worse. God help us when we get to next Christmas and we have to do number 5, because who knows what we're fucking in for there. So bad, scary. Fuck it. I'm done. Let's wrap this shit up. We're done with the 2020 now. Let's just move on to next year.
Okay, so you mentioned we're done with the 2020. I'm kind of curious. I just got a few questions to ask you. I always love the best of the year kind of things that news shows do or talk TV shows do.
Before we do a best of, I wish we would have talked to me ahead of time. I'm not prepared for that. We could do a real thing with that, not just off the cuff.
You're not married to any of these decisions, But I'm just gonna say, what was your favorite movie you watched all year? It doesn't have to be something new from 2020, but just something you watched this year. Like, holy shit, that was fun. That was a fun surprise. Doesn't have to be horrible horror. Can be anything.
Oh, it
what
could be
movie?
anything? Okay.
Yeah, it could be anything.
That makes it even harder. I don't know, man. I wasn't prepared for this. God damn, I don't know. I really don't know off the top of my head.
I got mine. Let me do mine. Let me do mine, and then we'll see. Give you time to think. For me, I've never seen the movie Wreck-It Ralph. Holy shit, I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph's good.
That was my movie for 2020. I saw Wreck-It Ralph right when my baby daughter was born. I was like, well, let me start watching Disney stuff. I heard about Wreck-It Ralph. And I watched it. I'm like, this is amazing. I love this movie. So Wreck-It Ralph was my top movie of 2020. My top, I guess, new artist that I listened to, not necessarily album or song, but somebody that I like, was this guy named Smooth McGroove, who does a cappella to video game songs, which is hilarious when he does, like, you know, a cappella to Super Mario Brothers, does a cappella to Mega Man, does a cappella to Castlevania. And then he has a few albums where DJs come in and like spin it, make it more funky. A lot of fun. So check out Smooth McGroove. My favorite series from 2020, hands down, has got to be Mandalorian. The Mandalorian season 2, holy shit, that kicked me in the balls, was so amazing. Absolutely loved it. And I guess my favorite moment of 2020, the end of it.
New Year's Eve 2020.
Yeah.
11:59 on 2020 on New Year's Eve will be my favorite part moment.
So do you have a movie that you can think of?
No, there's so much that I can't. I don't want to pick something recent because that's the easy cop out. Because like the most recent things, because those are most fresh in my mind. But there's got to be stuff, you know. I watched back like, let's say, April or May that I was like, oh, that's great. But I don't know. Like I guess I will say this for the highlight. I guess one of the big things of 2020 for anybody who doesn't know by now, because I never really announced it. Because I had plans to announce everything, but then fucking pandemic hit and ruined everything. But I got married in 2020, so that happened. I was waiting for the right time to talk about it on the show, and because I was we're gonna take a break for all this what happened, but shit never happened. But I did get married, so that was a big thing, obviously. But as far as like best of, I really don't know. But I am intrigued by this idea, and I think we should do a best of. Maybe next week or something like that. We could give us time to come up with really plan that out and do an episode on the best of, and maybe we get some guests on and kind of talk about some stuff. That could be a fun thing to do.
I just love how you're unable to think on your feet. You're great at planning, bad at thinking on your feet.
Well, The Mandalorian is awesome. I will say that. I agree with you. That is one of my favorite. That's been probably one of my favorite series this year. Absolutely loved it. But there's so much, like The Boys on Amazon. I really enjoyed that. That was good. But I don't know. There's a lot. I like the Harley Quinn animated show on DC on a DC Universe app. I love that show. That show cracked me up. But there's so much other stuff to go about. So, but that's all non-horror stuff. And that's not horror related. So at this point, I'm ranting on. I don't think Amy cares. It's Amy still listening right now. I'm sorry because I don't know what to say, and I'm probably boring you out of your mind. You probably sound like a fucking idiot. So I'm gonna move on. We'll just move on and end the show. And Aaron's giving me this bored look anyway. So
no, yeah, let's wrap it up.
So yeah. Well, so anyway, that's it for 2020, guys. Next time we're back, it will be 2021. So I hope everybody out there had a good holiday, the best holidays you can. Enjoy New Year's as best you can and safely as you can. And we look forward to seeing you guys back in 2021 for another year of more shit movies and crap. So in the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Watch more horror movies. And remember to always keep it tight.